What the fuck is an NPC, and how the fuck do you recognize one? What is up, Alien Army? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. Woo! So today's topic, we are going to be talking about NPCs. If you've heard of NPCs, it means non-playing characters. It can go for a video game. That's what I've heard it from. I mean, I'm not really a gamer, but yeah, NPCs are basically part of the design of the game. From what I understand, my interpretation, it's sort of like in the only video game I've ever played, Mario. So I'm gonna just go back to that one, but use whichever example comes to mind for you. Let's say you're playing Mario, and you know, you're the Mario character, right? Because you're in the fucking Mario suit, and you are the one that is guiding Mario's vessel through the matrix of the game. So then a non-playing character, an NPC in that game, would be one of those, I keep calling them ducks. I don't know what they are. I think they're really fucking turtles, but I call them ducks.
Because they just look like fucking ducks to me.
Okay, they're fucking ducks. To me.
I don't give a fuck what you want to call them.
To me, they look like ducks. A duck turtle morph.
How are you talking about this?
One of those motherfuckers, one of those home skillets, a turtle, duck, whatever the fuck they are, is an NPC because they're in the game and they're a character in the game, but they're not playing. Mario is the one who is playing. So you as Mario, you would be the one playing the game. A non-playing character that you come across in the video game would be one of the turtle ducks.
Now that that's out of the way.
So the turtle duck, I don't know why I keep calling that, like that fucking song that goes like, two turtle ducks. That's the song, right? That would be an example of an NPC. Now, as we know, we are living in the third dimensional holographic universe, which is a matrix in and of itself, and it's a universe that was constructed for us to play in, much like the universe of a Super Mario game. Mushroom Kingdom, I think it is, is the universe that is created for the characters of Mario and the NPCs and Bowser and all them motherfuckers.
Now that we have this out of the way,
we take it a step up. Now we look at our 3D Earth matrix, the physical, tangible things. We are in our suits, we're in our vessels, so we would essentially be Mario, and then our soul is piloting the vessel. Woo! I'm just beginning to really understand it. Came up in a conversation, and so I was able to actually fully grasp the concept myself of what an NPC actually is.
This is my interpretation.
Now, we take in that same context, turtle, duck, Mario, and we're on the grander scale. We're in our matrix. The NPC would be comparable to the turtle duck. Who are these motherfuckers and how would you recognize them? There are actually two different types of NPCs that I personally have noticed. The first thing I do want to say is that an NPC is not going to be someone that you're close and intimate with. Why is this? That is rule number motherfucking one.
I don't think it's going to be a rule number 2 or 3.
I don't fucking know, but that's rule number 1.
right the fuck now.
Rule number 1, an NPC will not ever be a motherfucker close to you.
Why?
Why will they not be close? And I mean close like a someone who is very, very intimately intertwined with you, because if they were very intimately intertwined with you, you would be able to tell that they are an NPC, and the whole purpose of an NPC is to blend in with the game. That is why they're not going to be someone overly close to you. It's not going to be your partner. It's not going to be someone you live with, unless it's like someone who you live with and they're distant to you, like you don't know them, but they're typically not going to be close to you or close to anyone that you are close to. Woo! So let's say you have a coworker, right? And you don't speak to this coworker, you just know them as your coworker. They might be an NPC versus a coworker that you work with and you're close to and you've established some sort of intimacy in.
Intimacy doesn't mean having sex.
This could be someone you're just cool with or someone that you interact with enough to know that they're not an NPC. Does that make sense? Again, they have to blend in. If they're too close to you, you're gonna fucking notice that shit. Or maybe if you have noticed someone close to you, and I'm sure it has happened, but for the most part, they are not gonna be close to you. If they are close to you, like living in the same household, or like a family member or someone you're like purportedly supposed to be close to, and you're not close to them because you don't feel any sort of intimate connection, that individual might have been an NPC. Do you see what I'm saying? So they can be close to you, but you're not going to feel closely intimate to them. So it could be, let's say, an estranged sibling that maybe was born before you and left the house before you were even born, and you don't really know them, but then they're like, you see, you're supposed to be close to them, but you're not because of whatever circumstance. Or even if they're an estranged sibling that lives in the same household as you, like, the point is they're not going to be intimate in the terms where you know them on an emotional level or you know their thought process. They're going to be someone who is distant. So that is rule number one, and what I mean, they are not going to be close to you. You can have an estranged sibling living in your same household. They might be an NPC because you're not close to them. Do you see what I'm saying? So you don't really know the inner workings of their realm. You just know that maybe they shower at this time every day, especially if it's a situation like that where they're very methodic and they seem like robotic in a way, like every day at this time the estranged sibling takes a shower. That would only reiterate that they are an NPC. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's not going to be like, let's say, a co-worker that doesn't live in the same household as you, but you have a bond with them, an emotional bond. They are not an NPC because you're too interwoven with them for them to be an NPC, because you don't form intimate attachments with NPCs.
I don't know if that got really all over the place.
We meander along, we find our way back.
That would be the rule number one, okay? Rule number two,
Oh, what the fuck am I talking about?
the first type of NPC that you can notice, because they're part of the game, they are someone who is perhaps like a city worker, or like someone who works at a school, but you don't go to that school, but you know that they're just like the principal of the school, or they're just the bus driver, or they're just the mailman. Someone like that, okay? Now, obviously not all of them are NPCs, but there's someone that you would notice, and there's sort of like a vibe about them, like they just kind of give mechanical responses, and they're not close to you, but they're sort of meant to stir the pot a little bit, because the job of these type of individuals who are just like random motherfuckers around, like I said, pick an occupation, it could be one of them, they are there to reinforce the matrix, right? So let's say you're getting a package delivery, and then the driver starts talking to you about, I don't know, something.
Did you see on the news?
And then you just kind of blurt out, you're like,
I don't watch the news, that shit is fake.
whatever you say. And then they're like,
The news is very real. I always listen to the news.
like they're gonna say some sort of program response like that to reiterate the fact that the matrix is there. All NPCs are harmless because they're part of the game, you know what I'm saying? And these type of individuals, like I just mentioned, are there to reinforce the matrix, so they'll typically say something to reiterate the narrative, the current events are, right? They'll reiterate it in a way where it sounds like it was scripted or programmed, okay? That's like the best way I can describe it. And they're just there to kind of,
This is all real and we're human.
like there's gonna be some shit like that. That is like the first type of NPC, that they're just there, and there are androids, but they're walking around and they're just there to reiterate the solidness and realness of the 3D Earth Matrix. You might hear them in conversation. You might overhear two, I don't know, city workers or something, two construction people at a construction site and walking by, and then they're like,
I watched the news this morning and it was swell.
and the other one is like,
Hell yeah, I always watch the news too. Typically I watch it in the evening.
like they're gonna say some weird shit, like you're gonna overhear like a weird conversation or some shit, or like I said, if you engage with one, they might try to have a weird conversation with you about how
Shit is real and shit.
but you're like, oh, okay, I know what this is. You're not even real. You're just a part of the matrix, so of course you think it's real because you built into the motherfucking game. You know what I'm saying? Those types individuals typically will encounter a lot earlier along in their journey, but they might not recognize them. And the more elevated you become, you can kind of spot these type of little drones. That's a perfect word that I have to look at. You can spot these little drones kind of like walking around, and you kind of just get a sense of them because they're going to seem, not like they're out of place, but they're going to seem stiff. Like, I don't know, their responses, the wording, what they say. And again, you're not going to have like intimate encounters with them. You just might, like I said, overhear something, or you might engage with them for like a hot minute, and then they say some
Weird shit.
and you're like, oh, okay, I know what this is. That's an MP motherfucking C. So those are one type. The second type that I personally have noticed are NPCs that are there to reiterate things that you have going on within you. It's there to reiterate that yes, you are interacting with the game and the game is hearing you, because remember, it's artificial intelligence based, the 3D Earth Matrix game, and it's very super high-tech virtual reality, more so than Meta and whatever the fuck else they got going on. Okay? It's more than that. It's more than Sims, all of that shit. It's just like the highest tech virtual reality you can imagine. So since your psyche is interacting with the game, you're moving the pieces, right? Like a lot of times I say you're like a chessboard and you're moving the pieces around on the board. You as the hand, you're moving them. What's basically happening is that these NPCs will come to validate to you that yes, the universe matrix has heard you, whatever, right? Because you are the universe and you're creating via the avenue of the matrix, because things that you want to experience are coming down. They're now floating into the video game. And this is a perfect example, which is why I'm going to say right now my example of one of these types. This happened like a few days ago. But when I'm manifesting something, this is kind of weird, whatever, I've been manifesting something to hype it up. I'm like, come on down from the ethers. Like the energy is coming down, it's slowing down, it's condensing to come meet you in the 3D Earth Matrix. So I'm like with that Bob Barker shit, come on down. I've been saying that when I'm manifesting, because the way that I manifest shit is like very oddball. It's different from like, I'm sitting in a fucking lotus position like, oh, fuck no, that shit ain't for me. I'm gonna sit still and in silence.
Fuck that.
So, I'll be manifesting, I'll be dancing around, doing my manifestation dance, like, come on down. That's how I fucking roll up. I've been doing that, and so because it's something that I'm trying to manifest, right, it's like I'm co-creating, so then it's so funny. So I went into this store the other day, I don't know, a few days ago, and I was waiting in the store because I wasn't really sure, do I have to pick a number and then go up to a booth or whatever, whatever. I was waiting there, and I was standing. I see like someone at the computer, like down the further way, because I'm the only motherfucker standing there. like they see me and they start smiling, they're like, come on down. I'm not even joking, like the fucking Price is Right. And I said, what, motherfucker? My God, yo, Plinko entered the fucking chat. Plinko, that shit was him. That was an NPC, but that was an NPC to reiterate to me that what I'm doing, right? Because why would it say come on down? But of course, Big Brother is always watching, right? Big Brother is the matrix, and you're sending the signal via the avenue of the psyche of what you want to see in the matrix. So then it's kind of like confirmation. Here you go, here's your confirmation. We've heard you, Big Brother is watching. Come on down. Again, this is like a store worker that I don't frequent this place. I've never seen this person before. Odds are I won't see them again. And they just said that. And it was like an experience where it clicked for me. I'm like, oh, okay, so that was part of the programming, because again, it's not someone who is really significant to me at all, and I'm not significant to them either, obviously, but we're not significant to each other, but our paths crossed, and the first thing they said to me was something that I've been reiterating to the universe. So it could come in that form. That's just one example. If you're like having a question in the universe and you pass by a conversation and two individuals are just happen, you hear someone literally ask a question that you've been asking the universe, and they ask this person that, the person with them, then the person answers, and then it's literally the answer you need. Like, those would be examples of NPC as well, non-playing characters. They're just there to show you what I'm thinking of, like Hansel and Gretel, but it's not really like that, but it's sort of like, okay, we're picking up on your energy, haha, you see us, we see you too, right, with the Big Brother and shit, and whoever the fuck is watching us all right now, hi, how you doing? Woo! So that's just basically how it works, because it is kind of like a Big Brother spying on you with cameras and eyes all over. And when the more awakened you become, you're awake inside the lucid dream. That's simply what awakening means. Doesn't mean anything cray happens aside from you see things with the third eye rather than the two eyes all the time. And the more awakened you become, the more you communicate with Big Brother, and Big Brother starts serving you. Because when someone is operating at those low densities, 3D level comprehension, they're not going to really even understand any of this. The more you elevate, it's like the less Big Brother is going to appear like a detriment. Big Brother is like helping you too, because that's the whole design. It's like the design of the game. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like when Mario is in the game and he's moving through, the example, the NPC that I told you, one that says, come on down. Take a shot or a puff every time I fucking say that. The one that said that to me, that would be sort of like a Yoshi. Because Yoshi is not playing, right? Yoshi only cracks out of the egg when Mario passes by, or I don't know, Mario has to do something, roll the egg.
Okay.
Then Yoshi comes out, and then Mario rides Yoshi. But then what happened? If Mario jumps off of Yoshi, Yoshi doesn't follow Mario, right? Because he's an NPC. He's not a player. He's just there to help Mario. So that's kind of like the NPC example I gave you, where they said, "Come on down." With that was an NPC. That was like a Yoshi helping me along. Like, oh shit, yeah, we heard you. So there's like helper NPCs, and there's NPCs that are trying to keep motherfuckers stuck in the Matrix. And if someone's at a third dimensional level of consciousness, they're most likely going to encounter the NPCs that are like the duck birds.
Ducks are birds, oh fuck. The duck turtles.
Turtle ducks.
Whatever the fuck they are. So the turtle duck
Whatever.
is more there to kind of like trip up Mario in his path, right? And the more third dimensional someone is, less awakened, the more they might encounter those type of NPCs, would just reiterate the Matrix, like,
You must obey this, and you must do that, and you must adhere to these guidelines.
whatever the fuck they're doing. They'd be more like the turtle ducks. And then the more you start recognizing them, you might still see turtle ducks, and you might observe them, you're like, oh snap, I know what the fuck that shit is. That's a turtle duck, motherfucker. The more you elevate, the more the NPCs, like the,
Come on down.
that type of individual, you might encounter more of those, and it'll be something that you've been saying to yourself, or maybe saying to the universe, and then the question is answered for you right there. Or like I said, you'll overhear a conversation, or you'll literally encounter someone, cross paths with someone, then they're gonna just tell you that or whatever. So those are like the NPCs that are there to help you. They're like the Yoshis, they're not like the turtle ducks. That's what I have for you today. How to recognize a motherfucking NPC.
Fuck yes.
Thank you for joining us on this wonderful stroll. Gracias, Luca, for living. I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. We will chit chat again